2024 has been declared as the year of the boxing glove. And tonight on the show, we've got some legends that are going to speak to us. Boxing South Africa's accounting authority, Mandla Ntlanganiso, has been put in charge of the sport by the Sports Minister Zizi Kodwa, and this was one of his ideas while the process of appointing a new board is being rerun. And he also joins us online now to talk about the year of the boxing glove. Good evening from us, accounting authority Mandla Ntlanganiso. Thank you for speaking to us tonight on Sports Live. It's been a dark week for boxing. I think it's important that we start there, losing our own Ntlanganiso, and I'm sure as Boxing South Africa, you'd like to say a few words of comfort to the family.
Good evening, Tabiso, and good evening to all the viewers who are watching the show today. Indeed, it's a very sad week for us. As you know that we've lost our legend, Tingani the Rose of Soweto Thobela. Not only him, we also lost our doctor in the Eastern Cape, Dr. Zondi. So it's not a very good week for us in terms of, losing very critical stakeholders within the boxing industry. We are looking forward to make sure that we organize a good standoff for the Rose of Soweto, and we've been visiting the family, and the preparations are underway. And we're saying that let's celebrate the life of the Rose. He made impact in the sport of boxing. He took the boxing world, by storm by making sure that South Africa and Africa is known, by making sure that he's crowned 3 times as a credible world champion. So we're saying that to the family. Condolences on behalf of Boxing SA and all the boxing loving people.
And I know you wanted to involve him in the symposium that you held last week, but what is your vision for boxing? What is the year of the boxing glove about, and why did you invite all the stakeholders to this symposium?
Tabiso, if you can look and compare where boxing is currently and where it was in the previous years, the golden era where we had almost 8 to 9 champions at a go, credible world champions, and you compare now that information, that statistics is not really auguring well for us in terms of taking boxing forward. The year of the boxing glove, we've launched it on the 26th, wherein we were really putting Boxing SA in the map, wherein we had to make sure that our programs and our vision is known and is also, introduced, to the corporate world. What we need, Tabiso, we need boxers to be on the mainstream of being the highest beneficiaries within the sport. That's the first point that we want to do. And we can't do that if we don't have the corporate sector within us. We said that we need to disrupt the status quo. What do we mean by that? It can't be business as usual. We need to do things differently. And again, how we repackage boxing to make sure that boxing is attractive to the corporate sector. How we make sure that boxing will be able to get, sponsors across the board, sponsors for our athletes, sponsors for the regulator, and to make sure that our events, that we host, are the events that will be able to bring eyeballs on the screens and bums on the seat. That's the direction that we want to take, to make sure that boxing really take the center stage. We were once a number 2 sport in the country in terms of followership, but now that has dropped, due to focus on issues outside the ring. Instead of issues inside the ring. So we're saying that let's bring back our legends. Welcoming is known Makepula, the late Ntlanganiso, and many others. Franco Botha. During their era, we knew very well that these are our world champions. These are our South African champions.
And they're here with us tonight, actually, these champions, because you had invited them to the symposium, which was a good touch on your side. Let's start with welcome, Ncita. Welcome to Sports Live. Thank you for joining us. The Hawk, one of the best to come out of South Africa. You were at the boxing symposium. Are you happy with what came out, and how do you think legends can get involved? Welcome, Ncita.
First of all, thank you for having me on your platform. Yes, I was there at the symposium. I think the step our CEO has taken is a powerful one, trying to find from the sponsors, that is the private sector, as to what it is that they have turned their backs away from boxing, and what it is that has to be done in order for them to come back. I think that was a powerful step, trying to in a way of trying to revive boxing in South Africa. I'm looking forward to the other things as well that is going to be bringing. And number two, for him to bring former boxers like myself into the space, into the picture, I think that's another good thing for boxing, because let us be honest to ourselves right now. We've got a lot of those, a lot of people who are involved with boxing, but if you try and find that where do they come from and what it is they know about boxing, you begin to have a problem in terms of getting an answer in that regard. And this is one of the things that has caused our boxing to be at the level that it is right now. So I want to believe the CEO, that's another step going forward that he has to look at with the most powerful one that he has taken right now. I think we are on the right track with how he has sort of started his move towards reviving boxing.
Yeah, and the other Hawk Makepula also joins us here. Good evening from us, Mfundisi. Thank you for joining us. I know you might also have some words of comfort for us also after we lost one of our own, Dingan Tobela. Oh, Hawk. Yes, Hawk, if you can just unmute there, Hawk. Press the unmute button so we can hear you. Man of God.
I greet you all in the wonderful mighty name of our Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach.
Thank you, thank
you. So this is an honor to be in this platform. I thank you for inviting me. Firstly, let me start by condolences to the two families. The family of Dr. Zondi, one of the ringside doctors that he was in Eastern Cape and is from KZN, and Eastern Cape love him dearly. And because of his job, we are all crying about that. And number two, the painful thing that we have in that symposium that we had last week, the one that he's a co-initiator with the CEO, Ding Dong.
Ding Dong.
Was not there.
Yes.
We were expecting to arrive. When we got this news after 3 days after the symposium, that was so painful. And especially when the CEO started to share this news that he initiated this. They were on the trip, I'm not sure, to Limpopo together. Then he told him that let us do this symposium. The former world champions, the former legends, or the legends. Then you will see and ask them. So we are all said. I cannot even say that I'm putting condolences to the family of Dingan because I'm falling in one of his family.
Yes. So, and for you, Hawk, what came out? What stood out for you from the boxing symposium? Because there was a lot of talk about new media and how boxing must use these new platforms that are available now in social media. And you were one of those years ago with the Mbuyekezo Boxing Channel that it started something which made you watch boxing on your phone. It was like a pay-per-view that we hadn't seen here in South Africa. But what did you take out of the symposium?
Yeah, as you have mentioned, my television, that is Ntlanganiso Boxing Channel. It happened that from 2010, boxing was not there on our televisions. But Mbuyekezo managed to can more than 20,000 professional fights and not less than 25,000 amateur fights. Fortunate again, I'm saying this, these Azinga, Nonchingas, Jichas, we've got them as an amateur. That's what we have decided. We've decided to take that route in terms of having the boxers from the amateur side, For us not to be shocked, in fact, for the audience not to be shocked, where does this boy coming from? You know, because of they were following them from amateurs. We've got those fights exclusively. I was expecting, in fact, my CEO, I'm still waiting for him. I thought that he will be already spoke about that because Mbuyekeza is still there.
Yeah.
And but we told ourselves that we're gonna wait for the big sponsor to come, then we continue. And again, we showed the world that we can do this because we've managed to carry, to televise 2 world titles globally. That was seen globally.
Yeah. And I know the CEO is open-minded and he will listen to all the ideas that come out. And he did say that he wants to put the boxer first also, accounting authority. Everything that we are talking about, everything that you are doing, it is for the boxer after all, because you said the boxers need to benefit here. And there's been talks about club championships also. What else can we expect going forward in boxing in South Africa?
Look, Tabiso, when we're saying that we need to disrupt the status quo, as I said during the symposium, that sometimes change is painful. There might be those that are comfortable with what the status quo is currently. But for this sport to thrive, we need to come up with new initiatives. Wherein we are saying that there is a club competition. You know, on Thursday, so we were having a debrief of the Mandla Cup together with Sanabo, you know. And if you can talk to Welcome Ncita, the way he is passionate about development.
Yeah.
And, you know, that is where it needs to start. Professionalize the open boxing. Make sure that whatever we do at that particular level, it is at the highest level, because there's quite a lot of things that we need to take out of the Mandla Cup, Chabiso. Look, the branding that was there. You were there, you've seen the top level branding that was there. The refereeing, you know, medical, everything, broadcasting, everything was done to the T. You know, not because it's an amateur, you know, and you must be amateurish. They show, even us at a professional level, there's a lot that, you know, we have learned out of that particular exercise. So during that debrief we had on Thursday together with Sanabo, we are saying that moving forward, we need to make sure that we are focusing on grassroots. Remember, we last had proper Olympians during the time of Makepula.
Yes.
During the time of Philip and others. We can't. How many years now have passed? What is it that we are doing? So we need to go back to the drawing board. Hence, Welcome Ncita is here. Hence, Makepula is here. Hence, Silence Mabuza and many other legends who have walked the path, who have been there. They know the ins and outs of boxing. At a local level, at an international level, they've seen it all. Why can't they come back and make sure that they plow back the scale?
Yeah.
You see, so that's the direction that we are taking. And what Hawk is saying, Makepula, in terms of packaging content, because as boxing, we have content. But how are we packaging this particular content? Because quality is there in South Africa, across all the provinces, is how we just need to package this and make sure that we make it attractive. We've got Varsity Cup, and in rugby, we've got varsity football, you know, we've got Mutsepe League, and all those, you know, are, you know, a development structure. Why can't we have the same within boxing so that we can produce and
we need that boxing back in schools, like you were saying also, because that's where the likes of Nika Kumalo and many others were discovered. But we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you, AA, for joining us. Thank you to Welcome Ncita, who's still doing some wonderful work in the Eastern Cape with boxing and development, and we hope that he gets all the support that he deserves, as well as Pastor Hawk Makepula, a flag bearer during the 1996 Olympics there. As we celebrate 30 years of democracy, it's important to remember our legends.